Alright, so welcome to lesson 9A. Today we're going to be talking about adding decimals. Adding decimals is going to be pretty much exactly the same as adding whole numbers, just one sort of different that we have to pay attention to all the time. Now, when we're adding, one of the main things to keep in mind and to keep very important is alignment of all of your digits. Now, when we add decimals, before we do any adding, you see we have our decimal point right here. Before we start to do any adding, we bring our decimal point down to make sure that it's going to stay in the exact same position that it's in. Then the only thing we do is add regularly, just like we're adding a whole number. So 6 plus 4 or 600 plus 400 is going to be 10 hundredths or 1/10. We regroup. If I know that I'm not going to do any more regrouping, I always put a box around my regroup digit to let me know that I'm not going to be doing any more regrouping at the present time. So now I add up. 8, 3, and 1 is 12. But that's 2/10 and 1 whole. So I bring my whole over here, box it, because I know I'm not going to be doing any more regrouping. 1 plus 0 is 1. So now I've added that up. Now my next step is to check it. I want to make sure that my addition is correct. And no matter what you're doing, any addition problem, you always check it with subtraction to make sure your addition went the way that you expected it to go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my sum, 1 and 2/10, and I'm going to use 34 hundredths. So now what I'm going to do, what do I do first? Bring my decimal point right on down. Now, the first thing I do when I'm subtracting is I look across my subtraction problem and see if I have to do any regrouping right off the bat. I know that I'm going to have to regroup my hundredths place. So the first thing I'm going to do, regroup, and now that's 10. Well, I've regrouped my hundredths place. I don't have to do any more regrouping now. But I'm going to have to regroup my tenths place because I can't take 3/10 away from 1/10. So I'm going to go to my whole number group, my whole numbers, and I'm going to regroup that 1 whole over here. That now I have 11/10. So now I can start subtracting. 10 minus 4 is 6. 11 minus 3 is 8. This is a 0. And so the Super Gucci sign. And my answer does check. So my answer does check. So now let's go to our next example. So our next example, I put a whole number in here. Still going to be the same. First thing you do, bring your decimal point down. And now, only thing I have to do now is add. That's 7. 9 plus 8 is 17. Regroup. 1 plus 3 plus 2 is 6. So 6 and 77 hundredths. Now, my next thing to do is just to check my work. So, let me switch that color. So 6 and 77 hundredths minus 2 and 96 hundredths. Remember, the first thing I do is see if I have to do any regrouping and do all of my regrouping at one time. I don't have to regroup my hundredths place because I can take 6 away from 7. But I can't take 9 away from 7. So I'm going to have to regroup my tenths place. So go to my whole numbers to my ones. Going to regroup that one. And now I have 17. If I can subtract, my regrouping is done, I box it. Same thing here. Now the only thing I need to do is just subtract. Bring my decimal point down first. That's 1. That's 8. 5 minus 2 is 3. Scroll up, check it. My answer does check. Super Gucci sign. And that's it. And that is the end of our lesson. Again, hopefully another enjoyable one.